All right, there we go.
There we are. We're live. So you haven't seen the thumbnail?
I don't think I don't know if I've seen it yet.
You've got to see the thumbnail, man.
Let me.
But
I'll look it up.
yeah, we're gonna try to be off at the top of the hour, so we should like not focus on the thumbnail.
I think
It'll
it's
be
fine.
fun though. AI totally helped me with it, man.
I was saying, I think we're gonna try and cover like as many topics and like kind of cover as much ground as possible on today's stream. So we might be a little. I don't know if we'll jump around. We might jump around a little bit.
We're probably gonna
We'll
jump
see.
around.
Probably gonna jump around. So
But the purpose of this stream is to talk about this fabulous, and I do mean fabulous tool that you have built, which is lookintoptgc.com. When I came into the Grays, I came out of Hex. I'm still in Hex, but at the time that I went into Hex, there was all kind of like metrics and data and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, because I'm a data head. And when I came into the Grays, I could see that the potential for there to be lots of metrics and such. We just didn't have any. The first one is a freebie, and that's looking what was it? Secretobank.com by Snowflake Society. That was fabulous just to have that. But then you came around and built lookintoptgc.com, which is so much more. And we just love that site. I use it every single day.
yeah, thank you. It's been like a long work in progress as well. Especially if anyone's been almost like watching the site or if they've seen the site from where it started. If anyone remembers, like the original URL was like liveburns.vercel.app,
Yes.
and it was just gonna be like a simple front page, like simple page just to track the burns of pTGC, and then it turned into much more than that. So
Tell us about, because some people might have a little burr under their saddle for, the fact that it's being monetized. But for me, I mean, you're a business guy. I'm a business guy, But when I heard you explain how difficult it is to get data like this off of the Pulse network, I was like, oh yeah, you got to charge a fee for all that work. Talk to us about the level of difficulty.
I'll go into it. I can go into it a little bit here, but essentially, like I think most people kind of can tell on Pulse Chain, like the infrastructure and everything on there. Like although it is a fork of Ethereum, like it's not. It's the same, but it's not. It's not particularly easy to pull the data, especially in the same way with the same sort of like indexers and kind of like data sources that Ethereum has as well. On Pulse Chain, like you guys have seen the Block Explorer, like that's kind of how you can picture like almost like doing some of the data analysis in your head, even compared to like Ethereum or other chains. So you could imagine some parts of it's probably a little clunky, um, requires a lot of effort, and then even there is like costs associated with some of the some parts of the site as well. So that is why like, and I was telling Prairie this like off stream as well, but the goal of the site is not to turn a profit per se, but it's trying to just keep everything sustainable and afloat so I can keep the site up and running is the main thing. And I'll show you guys like later on in the stream. I think we'll actually go onto the site and look at some stuff, but there's some stuff kind of on the site I want to make available to more people, but there needs to be more revenue pulling through the site before I can kind of expend more to it as well. So that's it's kind of a, I don't know if it's like a little bit of a chicken and the egg, but I'm telling you guys like we'll look at some of this stuff today, so it's like it's almost like it's almost ready to deploy. Just essentially, I'm looking for more revenue to cover the expenses as well. So that's kind of one of the things too.
Okay, so if we can get the revenue up, then we get more metrics, is what I'm understanding. And I know you had something on there. It was probably 6 or 8 weeks ago. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool to have, but it costs it because the level of data, the level of machine work behind the site, you had to pull it down because it was going to be extra expensive.
Exactly. So I would say when looking at pTGC started, especially with the kind of live burns format, there's you have, I'll say, like live data on blockchain that's relatively simple and probably relatively inexpensive to pull, on like kind of a relatively good scale as well. And then there's other ways you could save it yourself, and you don't have to like query the historical blockchain. But there is now, like, I'm trying to add more historical data and historical kind of features onto the site, and I think that's what
Okay.
I was showing Prairie Banana. But that sort of stuff, since you have to like go back in time, go back in history, costs costs more. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the thing. And like I said, we'll actually go onto the site, and I'll show you guys some of the stuff that's like it's pretty much ready to go. Like you can kind of like flip a switch
Really?
almost, in a way. Like
So you have stuff that you can show that's on your computer that we can't see, like on my computer. Okay,
kind of
cool.
in a way. So
All
and
right.
that's not, yeah, that's not because like if I served it out to the world, like I would probably, like the site wouldn't last like another month. So that's kind of like
Because
the
of
point,
expenses.
because of expenses.
Okay.
So I
Good.
would have to take it down. So that's kind of one of the reasons.
You're
But
pulling
like I
my
said,
leg. You're just trying to make money. Sorry.
yeah, I'm here to gout highway robbery guys. Like
I like to joke around. I have a
yeah,
relative that I'm thinking of whenever I joke around about that. Um, okay, cool. Because I got one thing that I'm going to need you to put on the site if it's. We'll talk about it after the stream. But the idea is that you built this fabulous site, and you're trying to onboard people to get subscriptions for the site, and it's like 17.28 a month, right after the coupon.
the current coupon that's on there right now, and I will say that one's probably gonna disappear soon. So
Okay, 17.28 a month for access to this site with all the metrics, and there is a lot of free stuff on the site also that's actually very valuable, which we'll talk about. But if you get more revenue, then you can build out some of the tools. So the people that are currently subscribed are actually going to be getting more value as time goes on. And what you've told me, again, outside of this stream, is that you would like to incorporate more and more metrics into the site as time goes on. So even people coming in now will be gaining more value into the future from the site.
absolutely, and I think we talked about like, and yeah, I don't know if I have any like written out roadmap or anything like that, but the idea and kind of what I have pictured out in my head is like every month or so, like, and at the very least, it would have to be like every quarter. You know what I mean? There would be like some sort of new feature or some sort of new like stat or
Mm-hmm.
something to kind of go onto the site. So that's kind of one of the things we were, or at least I was looking to implement with the help of Prairie Banana as well, to add like new things onto the site constantly. I would say at least once a quarter there should
Mm-hmm.
be something new on there, and we're trying to aim for like once a month have a new kind of metric, a new thing to display there, whether it's free or likely it will be paid. So
Sure. And then we can stream about any new innovations also.
and
I
I
mean,
think that's the plan as well.
I have two ideas right now written down that we haven't even talked about yet. We'll talk about after the stream that could potentially be built into this site. And for data heads, like people that like numbers, gee, man. Yeah, this site is the cat's meow for pTGC.
So
So
yeah,
do you wanna just walk through it, and I can share my screen and we can pull up look into ptgc.com, and then we can talk about the site.
yeah, sure.
All right, let's do it. Kong, would you mind talking about, just run across the top and tell us which ones are behind the paywall and which ones aren't, which tabs at the top?
Sure. So the dashboard tab, I would like to always have that free. Um, Ideally, yeah. So I'll try and keep it tight, keep it where I could keep on serving that for free.
Yeah.
With the guides and stuff, those are all free as well. Kind of community built, community made. So like there's the getting started. They have some stuff on the tokenomics and then like about page as well. Those are all free. The moon math page, that one is quite popular, and maybe we'll do some moon math later in the call. Um, that one's a free page as well. Um, and
And
then
then
there's the Moon Math 2.0, which is more of a constant product calculation. That one's paid. The burn calculator is paid. Lock calculator, I think it has a free view, but it is mostly a paid feature.
true.
The staking is paid. Reflections is paid. Prairie Bananas sheets within the site are paid. The UFO LP sort of tracking is paid, and then the API on the site's paid as well. And then the DApp at the very end is free to use. So
Okay. Looks to me like your left tabs and your right tabs are free. Everything else, everything in the middle is behind the paywall.
essentially,
Okay.
so yeah, yeah. Essentially, you have like yeah your outskirts, like your DApp, your dashboard, and then the moon math and the guide and stuff. So most of the stuff too is like I don't know how much of it has been I don't know how much of it has been showcased on stream. Like there's like if people buy the site or if they subscribe to the site or if they get access to the site or whatever, and you go through it and stuff, you'll see there's a lot of stuff on there, and I don't know how like it's not. I'll say it's maybe not immediately obvious where everything is. So I also want to kind of cover a little bit to do with like some of that and where I think some of the value is on the site as well.
Okay. Do you want to actually share your screen because then you can drive the mouse?
Yeah, sure. I don't mind.
Okay. So I'm going to pull mine, add yours. I'm going to run over and
Sweet.
close my blinds because there are cars driving by and the reflecting light on me, and it's probably only going to get worse.
No problem. I'll carry it. Um, but yeah, so here looking to PDGC, I wanted to. There's a few things here. I don't know if my screen might look even a little bit different than what you guys would see, especially as a free user and potentially even as a paid user. It's partially to do with, like I was saying, like some of these stats like would not be sustainable to show on like a large enough scale to the people and stuff. So yeah, but to kind of cover, I wanted to cover. I'll start here, like, and I think this is one of the forgotten about places on the site because I think there's a lot of cool charts and cool stuff on there in general. But if you start on the site here and you just kind of scroll down, there's a little view charts button, and you'll be able to see some kind of cool charts made out for PTGC and UFO. So for example, like you click on this little drop down, you can see the little arrow there as well. But I'm gonna go to volume over burns. Let me go burn metrics value. But yeah, so this kind of goes to show like the amount of essentially the amount of PTGC being burnt like on a daily basis. And you like even you can take a look back in history. You can see like on 4/15/2025, it's like 10 million, 12 million, even here's 10 million, 199 million PTGC burnt on a given day, 200 million PTGC. It's like you can see like there's kind of track these burn metrics throughout time and stuff. See as well like the burn percentage. Um, there might be some wicks on the chart, but for the most part, it should be pretty smoothed out here. But you can sort of see like how burn percentage of PTGC always up and to the right. See like the price here. You can overlay it with WPLS price. And I don't know if I'll go over every single one of these charts, but I definitely want to cover at least a few of these. These are all on the site right now. You guys like there can be better versions of these charts as well. That's another thing I'll say is like these these are the kind of like how I'm talking about with the whole revenue thing. Like if this site can pull more revenue, I'll be able to kind of upgrade the data sources for all these charts, and they'll become a lot kind of a lot more clear, kind of a lot more clear as well. But you can see here, like here's pooled pTGC, so you can take a look at like the pTGC and the LPs with like the total amount of liquidity in US dollars as well. It, very interesting for pTGC though. You can see like even since April, it looks like the liquidity has been for the most part kind of flat. Is that the same as your records, Prairie?
Yes, actually. Yep. I had to think about it. Yep. Pretty flat.
It's been pretty flat, which I think is kind of interesting, because the price has been going down a little bit. So usually you see the LP kind of dwindle when the price has fallen. But
Yeah. It's probably not going to be that way for long. You know, as we go into the cycle, that liquidity is going to change a lot, we hope. And remind me, how did you get to this? Because I was messing around. How did you get to this part?
I just went to the dashboard. You can scroll down to you see like the pTGC market metrics, and then there's a little view charts button in the corner.
Right. Okay. Got it.
And then yeah, all the charts are there. One of my favorites though is like the buy and sell transaction. Um, Sometimes you can like you'll see sometimes these buy and sells can act as like kind of like mini stochastic RSIs is like how I would describe it. Um, and you'll be able to see like in the short term, like if there's a crossover on the buys and sells, like even right here you had like a little crossover on the buys and sells, and then you had like kind of a crossover in price as well to the downside. So sometimes you see these things kind of happen on PGC and UFO. I know the other thing too is like I was saying, the data source on this chart is like it's different than what's being used on other places on the site. So before yeah, before you could even seen it, it was like even a lot more concise even. But now like I don't know, still kind of get the general idea of it all. Here as well, this is kind of cool. You can sort of see like the volatility of PTGC. I think this is kind of really cool actually. But you can get a sense of like even take a look at this. Like this is tracking like the 24-hour percent change on a given day, and you can see like most days like take a look at this. Like we haven't even had like a minus 27% maximum drawdown throughout this like entire time from like when was this? In April to where we are now and like all the way in June. This token has not even fallen down more than I guess that's in a 24-hour period. But still you can see like on the upside it's moving up like 28, 27, 25%, 27%, right? So that's kind of I would say that's pretty massive, right? To have like it looks like if you have a bad day on PDGC, it's like minus 10%, minus 15%. But if you have a good day, it's like plus 15, plus 20, plus 30. So
I like that.
that's yeah, I think that's a cool metric actually. Um,
I like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's fine. Fine with me.
but yeah, let's say it's like it's to me it's pretty clear like even PD like it doesn't have that many down days, especially relative to like this whole trend of the chart. Like looks like it prefers to have like volatility to the upside, although maybe it does like retrace its some of its up days, but I don't know. This looks really nice to me. Like there's probably a lot of tokens on Pulse Chain that if you're tracking this exact same metric, it just wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a lot of coins completely flat or a lot of coins like flat and down a little bit, right? So that's the type of thing.
Yeah.
check out. Yeah, I think we already checked out the burn value. See what else here. Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, so this is like you can take a look at the volume in USD, and then you can also see, I guess, the burns here in USD overlaid for whichever given day, which I guess is pretty cool. So here, like $13,000 burnt on May 7th, $300,000 in volume. Back here, see the burns are a lot less actually, but volume's been like 123,000, burns like 667, it's saying dollars. Yeah. So yeah, but there's like a ton of stuff here on like on this chart page, and like I said, like this page and the whole data source of it can be upgraded like tenfold if it, like kind of what I was saying earlier. It's like
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, I can see that this page is a bit of a teaser. Like it could get a lot better with
this is one of
historical
the
data,
things though
especially.
I wanted to share. I don't know if anyone's actually seen this before on stream. So if you're watching, like I would like yeah, now's the time to like sit up in your desk and stuff. But taking a look at this, you could this is an experimental burn projection, and this is one of the things that's kind of on the site, but not really, not fully like not it's not fully deployed yet for the public, right? Um, but yeah, this can show like essentially like a burn projection. So it can take the current amount of burn rate in terms of the supply a day. So if pTGC is burning like, and I think it used to burn like, what is it here? A squid, which is pretty good,
Hmm.
right? So like 0.0014.
We've
And I
burned
think the
dolphins before too on a regular basis, like last
we
summer.
have, and I think this is actually taking the current burn, like the average current burn rate from like this is like from the past year is my understanding. It's taken that burn rate as a percent of the supply per day, and I can even reduce this as well to like half, which I think is roughly what we're kind of burning right now. But you can see actually taking a look at this is like pTGC would burn 174 is left to. What does it
107.
mean by left to extract?
I think he's talking about in the liquidity pool. I didn't mean to interrupt you,
Oh
but
no.
if you so Mirror's law. Thank you for the question. If you go to look, if you go to pulsetgc.com and look at the stats page, you and hover over the red part of the pie chart, you'll see how much is available in LP, and I think it's about 5 billion. I think that answers your question. Let me know if I got it.
Where can I go here again? Stats page?
Stats. Yep. And scroll up, you'll see that supply distribution chart. Hover over the red, and that's the LP pool. That's only like, I think that's like the 4 LPs is like the top four or something like that.
It's only the top four?
Yeah, I think. How much is there?
I
5.54.
think there's 5 billion.
Yep, 5 billion. And it
That makes
fluctuates.
sense.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Miroslav. Appreciate that. And Mr.
Do,
D, good to see you.
do we know what happened to this burn graph?
No, I don't think it was ever there. You know, they're they, shall I say, we are renovating the site. It's being rebuilt. You know, it just needs to be rebuilt. So, but it works. It's the DAP I use. And I actually, okay, here's a nugget for you, everybody that's watching or listening, is that the DAP, and that is free, correct? It's on that. Yeah, it would be free. So it's on the right-hand side. So the DAP, like I have locking ladders if I use pulsetgc.com, I have to, and I want to claim my my rewards, I have to claim them individually. But on your site, Kong, I can claim them all at the same time, which is really sweet.
Can you can claim them all in one transaction
Yeah.
off all your accounts, eh?
From one wallet.
Or from one wallet, but all your like locks or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, that is sweet though.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because if you got, depending on the size of your locking ladder, it can save you a lot of time.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that is a good little nuance there on our on the look into pTGC DApp. There's also like I will say if you're doing like it's you don't have to use the DApp like per se of like you don't have to sign anything on this DApp, but if you do like go on here and just check out like if you click unlock, it'll tell you on this step like what your penalty will be for unlocking or unstaking or whatever. So I think that's another thing as well. It'll like give you and I think the other DApp does too, but I think this one gives you like a few different warnings of like, are you sure you're going to lose like 30% of
Yeah.
your stack if you do this?
It's
So
yeah, yeah. This app, looking at ptgc.com, is a little more emphatic. It puts
yeah,
an emphasis. Like I don't know if you've ever tested the hex warning. It is very in your face what you're doing, and that's what we need. Honestly, in crypto, because you get that FOMO going, and you need something that's going to be in your face, telling you what you're doing.
I think so. And it's easy to make like a easy mistake like that, right? Just to like click the wrong thing or like just it's hard to remember like all the fees for all the tokens and I don't know,
Yeah,
having that little fail safe. And like I said, you don't have to sign or anything like that, but if you do like go on here and just click the buttons, um you'll see if there's any penalty or not, and you'll see if there's any other like warnings that the site gives you.
right.
And then I was telling people before that, especially when we had Rabby Wallet, and a lot of people use Rabby Wallet. I was telling them that like if you had previously used the pTGC contract and the previous or the pTGC front end, and you were to use this one, and you can still check it in MetaMask and in Rabby today, but Rabby would tell you when it was supported on Pulse Chain that you were interacting with the same pTGC contract. So there's nothing
Hmm.
like yeah, so that's all this front end is doing is it's just interacting with the same pTGC contract with the same
Okay,
with the same
that makes
stuff there.
sense.
So
I mean, I was a little bit sketched when I tried it the first time. I was like, okay, we'll try this, and I did. I tested it. It worked. And tried it again. It worked, and now I just use it.
let me I might have a test wallet, so I think it's actually worth like just showing here for the people. Um, let, let me see if I can find my test wallet. Yeah, here.
So for the people that are watching, we're just running through, look into ptdc.com, hitting some highlights, and I think at the end of this, Kong, we'll talk about perhaps some new innovations that you want to build into the site. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And and Kong's gonna have let's not forget this, Kong. Kong's gonna have a coupon code for everybody too.
I will, and it's gonna be better. It's gonna be better than the one I think that's on the site. If anyone's got on there, but there should be a good coupon. Just I'll say like stay tuned and we'll share it around and stuff. But
Yeah.
this is the DApp, and you can see like I have a little test wallet here, and if I click unlock, it'll tell you like the fee here. It'll also like for example give you the APY for your lock on the DApp. So that's another
Right.
cool feature as well. Um, yeah, you can see like all your APYs here for your locks, which I don't know if the main DApp does that, but
I
here
don't believe
what I'll
so.
do I signed the transaction, and I'm gonna. I don't know if you guys can see the uh, the Ravi wallet notification, but
No.
let me see if I can do something
Usually you
real quick.
can't see Ravi Wallet on your screen, depending on how
It's
you're
so
sharing.
it's so weird. Like sometimes s- sometimes it will show when I don't want it to, and sometimes it won't show when you do. Right. So
Hmm.
it's always um. Yeah, I'm just gonna reshare my screen here so people can
Okay, I see what you're doing. And Mira's
I'm just gonna
Law,
do this.
he says he has one more question about how many X's will PTDC do if Pulse doesn't do any X's at all? PTDC would definitely need a lot of money to grow in time. That is a true statement. If Pulse doesn't do any X's at all, well, in the
I think
last
Pulse
year,
hasn't done any X's at all, right?
yes,
Like
it's been going
technically
sideways
it's
for over 2 years. Yet PTDC has done like what 360 X's since anybody could buy it, and it's done I think 14x in the last year. So, true statement, Mirror's Law. Yeah, let's root for Pulse Chain, right?
but do you mind pulling up my screen again?
Yep.
And also I might have to I might take it down again after this. But
Sure.
so yeah, this is like the same dat page. Like if I click unlock here and confirm, and you guys could do the exact same thing. So here's like the Rabby wallet notification. You can see like the chain, pulse chain. You can see a bunch of data. This is all in like hex, or you can see your address there as well. But take a look at this too. So this is essentially like where the money's going to, right? And before, like I said, Rabby wallet made it 10 times more clear. And MetaMask actually, I think, makes it even more clear to show like what contract you're interacting like to. But yeah, take a look at this like too, right? You guys all saw me sign the transaction on the DApp. I'll go to the Pulse Chain Explorer, paste that in there, and this is literally the pTGC staking contract, right? So
Okay.
you guys can like, yeah, it's you can verify it in your wallet or just I think even as a general rule of thumb, um, anything you sign in your wallet, you should like look into the notification and see like what are you actually interacting with, and is that the contract that you're supposed to be interacting with, right? But yeah, just
Sure.
if anyone wants a manual way to verify it, like I mean, you just saw me do it here. So yeah, that's kind of the point is this is like it's not anything really special. It's just interacting with the same pTGC staking contract. I think the same way that this one kind of interacts with it as
Yes.
well. So that's pretty much all it is. So
Do you want to hit the highlights of the site, the different tabs across the top?
yeah. And sorry, you might have to pull up my screen once again.
No, that's all right. That's what I'm here for.
But here we'll do. I wanted to do the reflections, and then I'll cover. I don't know if I'll cover absolutely everything. But I want to at least cover some of the.
Right. It's kind of touchy because, I mean, if you show, there are some things that you show, like that you could show that it's pretty much static information. So if you show it on the screen, you know, it's when people are paying for that information, then it's kind of giving it away.
So yeah, but I don't know. This I think we used to share this back in the day, but this is a cool calculator. You can see like
I still do.
so I mean that's great, but this is also this shows you essentially your reflections, and you can see like your current APY, also your historical APY. If you need to like see the differences between these, it's like you can see how this APY is calculated with the formula there. I would say like zoom in and screenshot if you want to read into that. And then same thing with this is like just different ways of calculating the APY depending on how you look at things. But either way, when you turn this on experimental mode, you're able to sort of take like you can kind of extrapolate the current APY with the current volume and extrapolate that out to like the future. So if PTGC were to do like 10 million or 25 or 50 million dollars in volume, is and it could do more, but I guess that's what I have the site limited to as of right now. But you can see like the yearly return you would get for PTGC, your monthly return, your daily return. This also works for UFO as well. You can see your UFO yield would be absolutely incredible.
Yes.
If you
I'm
were
always
doing
impressed with UFO's yield.
always impressed. So even compared to PTGC, like take a look at that 275% versus 1,300% yield at, but this is at 50 million dollars in volume, right? And
Yeah.
I'll say also keep
Still,
in
the
mind
ratio
that
is going to
like
be the same.
and the ratio that's the key point is like the ratio would be like kind of the same there. But also say is like you can put in your own address here, right? And you'll be able to take a look at your own address and sort of see your own metrics
Mm-hmm.
and get this like same idea of like you could see your current yields and then you could see your kind of theoretical yields based off of like the theoretical volume and stuff. And then yeah, you could also see like for the other different tiers and stuff. And I was also telling Prairie like this likely will always have the same information, but it could always be revamped and redone and just like remade to just be a little bit prettier and better and easier to digest and everything like
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
yeah, but that's kind of the kind of the point here is like you guys can play around with these things kind of early, and then even if you do have like we have some ideas of doing like I'll say I have some ideas to do some smart contracts. That doesn't mean tokens, and that doesn't mean like NFTs or anything like that. But I do have
Okay.
some ideas for some smart contracts and to put on this site to kind of give you guys more value and even give you guys kind of a voice as well. But that'll be for kind of another conversation.
Okay. And I see you guys' questions. We'll get to them. Just when you get to a point, Kong, we have some questions in the chat.
Sweet. I'll end off with one last thing here, one last metric, and then I'll share the coupon of the day. And I'll also say the coupon for today has only 3 people can redeem it. So for anyone who's listening, like if you want the coupon, it's quite a good one too. It might be competitive. I don't know. Yeah. So you guys will have to stay tuned for that. But yeah, the coupon might be competitive. But this is one of the things as well. I really want to put this on the site. But it cost me like kind of a fortune. So I need, yeah, like I said, I would need to have like a sustainable revenue and amount of subscribers before I could have this there, even for the public or even for the paid subscribers, right? Maybe I'll start
Mm.
with putting out for the paid users, and then if we can get more revenue, I don't know. I wouldn't want to make stuff free if it was paid previously, but it certainly
And what
happened. But
what is that you want to add to the site?
this is all kind of already on the site. I want to make it public. This is the
Mhm.
APY metrics for UFO and PTGC, and like maybe I'll quickly flash you guys. I'll quickly flash you guys. Yeah, you can kind of see like there
I've seen
is
this before. The
yeah I
best
think
looking one is if you go on a longer time frame.
yeah it is. We'll go to 90 days here. You guys can pretty much see everything here, but PTGC APY. I'm not going to show the UFO APY because it's a lot higher, and I'm just you guys will have to pay for it unfortunately. But yeah, this is the type of metric that this is like the ultimate data source here. And
Yeah.
when I was showing you guys these market charts,
You
I want
could
to
you could make a comparison between when the APY and the volume, and you can make trading decisions based on stuff from this site.
exactly, and then that's kind of like I was saying of like these charts up here is using a weaker data than what you're seeing on this APY history. So I would like to, yeah, I would like to, I don't know, I would like to make this site better, guys, but it's like I'm looking for, I need, like, I do
You
need the
need
community support, right?
you
Like I
need
need the community
subscribers.
support. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
that's
the
what we're
thing.
here for, man. We're trying to get
But yeah,
subscribers for you so that the site can be even better because we want the information that you have at your fingertips. We just have to pay for it.
but yeah, and yeah, like I said, I was telling Prairie Banana and like even I don't know, I think I mentioned it earlier, but the goal is not even to the goal is not to turn a profit, but the goal is not to like the goal, at least for me in this site, is just not to kind of spiral the expenses into oblivion, right?
Yeah, we don't need you to
Just
have an expensive hobby.
already have one. I feel like with the cryptos and stuff, so it's like yeah, but yeah,
And
I
I
think
personally,
that
I don't mind if you make money on this site. And I think you're going to have so many subscribers going into the bull run. I mean, there's like almost 20 people watching right now. And many of them might already have a subscription. But I think that everything's stinking dead on Pulse Chain right now. And there's still 20 people watching. So what's coming is probably quite a bit more as long as we have a successful Pulse network.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, like this is for me as well, like kind of a long term thing. Like I'm looking I'm looking at pTGC as a long term play. I'm looking at Pulse Chain as a longer term play. And then if you look at something like it used to be called Look into Bitcoin, which I think got renamed to like Bitcoin Magazine Pro.
Hmm.
But that's kind of like the vision for this site as well, right? Like we will have the blue chips, pTGC and UFO, and I like ideally like I have the kind of the information page surrounding that as well. But yeah, I think as everything matures, like I don't know, it would be cool to pull a profit down the line. But in the short term, yeah, like goal is just to keep everything sustainable as well. So
Right. Well, and then if you're turning a profit, that means that you're able to put things into the site and you're not having to stream with the Prairie Banana, trying to get some subscribers so you can add things to the site,
that's a good point too, right? So
But,
I don't know,
but
and
I think,
it is what it is too. Like for me, it's not a like I don't know, it's not a big deal either way. Like I don't know, I'm here. I'm trying to support the community as much as possible and also just support myself at the same time. So
yep. Well, it's like on the airlines. When I was a child, it used to always confuse me why the stewardess says put your mask on first and then take care of your child. I was like, man, I want to take care of my kid. No, you got to take care of yourself first. Then you can take care of other people. That's where you're at with this thing. So that makes sense. I'm sorry, I pulled the page down. If there's anything else you want to share, we can do that. Otherwise, we have a few questions. Let's just
do you
go
want
ahead.
to start with Crypto Wash's questions? I'll
Yep.
I'll share my screen because it has to do with that, and then we'll we'll then I'm pretty much I'm all done sharing.
Okay. Here is Crypto Wash's question. Appreciate all you do. Is there a coupon code for the Alliance or Empire X? And if we sign up for either of those groups, do either one of them include the paid stats stuff you went over today?
That's a good question. For the Empire guy, so if you're in the Alliance people, that is separate from looking to PDGC and like the other stuff. Although the Empire, that group, if you're aware of it and if you do sign up for it, we are trying to get looking to PDGC integrated onto the Empire as well. But as of right now, like it's kind of it's for the future. So kind of to answer your question, Crypto Wash, kind of the answer is yes and no. If you sign up for the Empire, it does not include the look into pTGC stats as of today, but in the future it might. So um,
Okay.
that's how I'd answer. But do you also mind just pulling on my screen for one last thing here?
Sure. No problem. Good to see you, Jonathan Shank.
And this, guys, is what I would say if like if you are in the alliance or if you are not in the alliance or if you're just looking for like a good deal on this site as well, go to the you can go to the get premium page as well as if you just click this like upgrade now button. You guys can see this coupon here. You could use that one, but there is a better coupon. So all you have to do is click add promotion code, paste in support 50, and this will give you 50% off for a month. And essentially it's $12 to join today. And keep in mind, like you can sign up, you'll get an email with your account and everything like that. So it'll tell you like click upgrade, you'll receive your email, and your email will contain your login and your password for essentially your the login on the site right here. And then you can start instant access. So I'll say like as soon as you upgrade, your email should be sent within seconds, and you should be able to get access there. And then if you want to cancel, you can just come down here into the site. Either you can message me or Prairie Banana, and we'll handle it for you, no questions asked. And then on top of that, you can just click here to manage your subscription. I'll say the only thing is to make sure you use an email that you have access to, so that this way, when you get your login information and you need to cancel, you can use that same email to cancel and to receive your information. So I'll say
Okay.
that's the only
That's
thing is like
that coupon is support 50, and that's has a limit of 3, correct?
limit of 3 people, guys. So I don't know if it's gonna get used up or not. We'll see. But there also is a time restraint on it as well. So it's gonna also expire on June 8th, and then that's if three
Sunday.
people. Yeah, that's if 3 people don't use it first. So yeah, get in before the rest of the people. Someone's likely gonna take the coupon, and then the other thing is too is like I said, you can literally cancel anytime right at the bottom of the site here. And then I think when you get emailed, you'll also see an option to cancel, like not immediately, but like cancel for the end of your month or whatever. So
Okay. And
yeah,
the 50% off, how long does that go into the subscription?
the 50% off is for 1 month. So
Okay.
and then you can, like I said, you can cancel after that if you want to. And then I think Prairie, you're gonna have a code in the future. So if people wanted to like
Yes.
they can re-sign up with another code another time, and they can
Yep.
do that type of thing as well. But yeah, if you guys just want to try it out and just see like if you like it for a month or not, it's $12, 50% off currently. So remember, yeah, support 50.
Okay. Yeah, and I have a code. It's in my Telegram, I think, and I'll be getting it out to you guys too. And thank you, Jonathan, for answering. Who is it? Diamond Dave's question. And I'll add to that. He asks, any chance these tokens could be listed on an exchange in the next 3 to 5 years? I suppose there's a chance. However, the exchange would have to buy the tokens and pay the 5% fee, community fee, and then everyone buying the tokens from the exchange will, because listing them on an exchange doesn't eliminate the fee, so that would be a barrier. Then Mira's Law. Are you in the process of implementing a new page on pTGC? At what stage are you? Thank you for the information. Greetings from the Polish community.
I'll say there's always kind of new stuff being added on the page. The stuff I was showing today, it's kind of finished, right? Like I'm waiting for revenue to be able to actually kind of pay the expense for keeping the site up and running. That's kind of like that's the chicken and the egg I'm in right now. And then me and Prairie are probably going to talk about some things off stream about like some stuff we could add onto the site. And I'll say those are probably just like a work in progress. But like we said, at least we're trying to get something at the very least every quarter. And I would say we're going to shoot for once a month, trying to get something new onto the site. So
Yeah, true. Okay, caveat. I like this caveat. Jonathan Sheng, thanks for dropping it in. Is that Binance continues to drop hints that polls could be listed, which would be huge. That would be wonderful. So stay tuned for that. We've been going for 50 minutes. Kong, is there anything else you wanted to touch on before we go?
I'm all good if you got anything, um, anything to wrap up on. If not,
Okay. All right. Cool. Appreciate everybody being here. And from one site user to you, Kong, I appreciate the site because it is literally a look into pTGC and UFO, and it's fabulous, especially if you're a data head like I am and like you are. But even if you're not a data head, if you're a trader, or you're looking for the optimal time perhaps to exit or to buy, there are tools on that site that could be insightful.
I agree, and thank you for your kind words. So
You're welcome. All right, everybody, we kept it short today, and I think Kong and I will be streaming again in the future. So if you like this, hit the like and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter. Follow Kong on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle, Kong?
Crypto Kong 145. I would say you could also find me on the website.
There you go.
Yeah, that's probably one of the better ways to find me there.
All right, and then
ptgc.com.
that coupon code we need to drop it in the chat. Support 50, right?
Support 50. That's all. Yeah, that's all it is. So
support 50, and that gives you 50% off the first month, and then you can cancel it at any time. So you can cancel after 30 days if you want to.
You can cancel after 30 days if you want to. And I'll say, if you do cancel after 30 days, maybe you watch Prairie Banana's show and you see maybe he has another coupon and you can sign up with that one. So yeah, like it's all good. Or if you do like the subscription, you do want to keep it, perfectly fine. But it is like, no one's cancel anytime.
Right.
No
Mike,
asked, so.
Just so you know, guys, my coupon code is going to be 15% off. So that 50% off is pretty juicy compared. All right, guys. And Kong, thanks so much for streaming. It was real and it was real fun. We'll do it again. All right, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. See you guys.